Okay, good evening, everybody. So let us start. Uh, so according to our schedule, this week we have to cover file input-output operation, file I/O operation. Do I have this here? Okay, I asked you to watch a YouTube video for the last lecture from another section. How many of you had a chance to watch that lecture video? Let me see. Because for your section, I already missed a class due to your test. So I have to finish this by this week. Yeah, you promised that if you are happy in your test 3, then you would watch this video, right? How many of you keep promise? None? Okay. Yeah, the record says only 17 views, so you did not watch. That means okay. So I'm expecting that you already watch it, but or even if you did not watch, so go home and watch it. This is the foundation of file I/O operation I discussed. Okay. Consider, think about that. In our previous programs, so far we discussed, we used local variables or global variables that are actually temporary variables we used. Non-persistent data we stored in the variable. As long as the program was running, your data was active. When you close your program, the data is gone. But in some case, you may need to store your input data in permanent way or output in a permanent way. Then in these cases, we use data file. We use data file for storing our even programs. Even you are familiar with that when you write a program. So we start with a Java file and then we write this program in a file. Okay, that is kind of data. Okay. So in order to do file input output operations, there are some existing classes, existing methods. We need to use those. Okay. So file input output, in order to do file input output operation, there are some existing classes that are called streams. You will see that input stream, output stream, that means input class, output class. So actually file input and output operation are related with keyboard I/O operation. Standard input and output operations. So we use keyboard as a standard input device and monitor as a standard output device. Some of you are familiar with using scanner method to scan input, to take input from keyboard, and we are also, everybody is familiar with printf or write line method to display output on monitor, right? Those are the output methods. So although these input and output operations are needed from the beginning of a program, but in all programming books you will see that these chapters are added at the end of the book. because these are critical something. There are some critical stuff, and then these are related to some existing class methods, sometimes inheritance, sometimes exception handling. So unless you understand all of the basic object-oriented foundation, exception handling, so you should not able to understand this. So this is why these are added at the end of book chapters. Almost every author added at the end of the book. While I was writing my book, I was trying to put this at the beginning of my first chapter or second chapter. Then I said, no, student when will see that they are the very difficult task, they will throw this book out. They will say, no, it's too hard, I will not be able to understand this. So later I realized that what is the reason that almost every author, why they put these chapters at the end of their book as a reason. So in order to do file input-output operation, we need to do standard input-output operation as well as some file input-output operation. Mainly there are three main steps of file input-output operation. Open a file with a mode, desired mode, either in read mode, write mode, append mode, or create mode. This is in C# actually. These are statements. And then what do you want to do? Either read or write. Reading means whatever exists in the data file, read that. And writing means inserting your new data in the data file. And at the end of your operation, close the data file. Okay. So in order to read a file from in order to read the content of a file, you consider the whole content as most of the time as a single string. And sometimes, as usual, how do we, for instance, this is an entire string. How do we separate a string into a meaningful way, or characters or words? Sometimes manually we use separator, right? Either full stop or comma or semicolon or space or tab. Okay, we use these standard separators in order to separate one word from another word. So in programming language is called a delimiter. The delimiter can be a space or a comma or a semicolon or a full stop or something. So there can be many file structures. For instance, there are MS Word file is a MS Word file, right? Text file, database file, Excel file. There are different structures of file. For instance, if this is a file structure, maybe if this data is stored even in a text file, this its own program. Actually, data files are structured according to their application need and their application structure. So maybe, for instance, this file, this data may contain this is the source. What is that called? Flight number, and this is the origin airport, this is the destination airport, number of passengers, average ticket price. So this format may be applicable for one specific airline, but not for all airlines, or it may be applicable for some airlines. So the concept is that file structure depend on application to application. That means you will decide how do you create your file structure. Whether you can use comma as a separator or space as a separator or semicolon as a separator. It depends on your program structure. There are some options. So here in this case, the delimiter is semicolon, it's a comma. Okay, and then the first step of file operation is opening a file. In order to open a file, there are some existing classes in the programming language. It is in C#. In C#, there is a stream reader. You need to get an object of stream reader equal to new stream reader. You will, within the constructor, you will give the what is called as file name. Okay, so you see that there is stream reader and then stream writer. There are two different classes. So reader class, reader stream will, reader object will open, actually reader class will open a data file in order to read from the file. And writer class will open the data file in different mode in order to write in a file. And after your work is done, operation is done, you should close your data file. Or sometimes it is required. Otherwise, sometimes there may be a deadlock situation or other program will not be able to use your data file if you do not close your data file. These are the code snippets. Some code snippet for these are in C# code. Okay, I will go through in live program with this. I think these are the methods. I think you are already familiar with this method, right? Print, println method. Is it in Java? Everybody is familiar at this point at this method. Write line, write, print line method. You are already familiar with this method. But one thing that you see that for one of each method, some methods, there are some variations in terms of their argument type. So there is a good name of terminology in object-oriented programming. What is that called? It's a good name. A method can have same name with different parameter type. That is called method over. Yes, thank you. Method overloading. So this println method is overloaded 3 times. Okay, some codes, these are in C# codes. I think at this point many of you are familiar with this, with parse method, read line. We will see that how these are used in program, in data operations. And this is in Java. Let me see how many slides are there. This is all of these slides. There are only 15 slides. So these are the code snippets. This code snippet will not work. These are not complete code snippets. These are some methods. But I want to show you this in a live program. So far, anybody has any question? Okay, so I just went through this in 15 minutes, but the detail are discussed on this video. Please watch this, okay? I'm getting pain, so I can. So let us go through with Java first, then I will go through C#. So in order to do a file input-output operation, then for instance, you see that this is main method. This is very simple method. So this program, if you run this program, what will happen? This program will, even I don't need this line. I did not use this program will create a file as test, or let me make it text.txt file. Okay, and this dot slash has a significant importance, significant use. Okay, so if I say that it is if I give it dot slash, then it will create a file named text. It will create a text file, .txt file, and the location will be the location of this project. The file will be created and in this location. What is the location of this project? If I do right click on the project and how is that show in System Explorer? This is the project. You see that here you don't have any project, any file name text.txt, right? Let me do it side by side. Okay. If I run this program, as soon as I ran it, that is created a file text.txt, right? It's right now, right? 659, 659, 649, 649, right? This just created a file text.txt in its where the file is created in the root directory. If I say txt, let us double check again. If I run this program, you will see that it will be created a file name here. So it created a file txt text. I put the different name. Okay. So this is very simple way how to create or generate a new file. I can create any type of file. I can create doc. If I say doc, it will create a document file. If I run this with doc, then it will create a document file. This is created a document file, right? MS Word document. So creating this file is very simple and straightforward in one line. So since this method may create an exception, so we need to use exception handling code. So this is why I said throws IO exceptions. If you do not use in throws IO exception, then you have to use try and catch block, right? You already know how to handle exception. Okay, so this method, close method and file writer method will create exception. Checked exception. This is why we need to use either throw or try catch block. So anybody has any questions so far? Do you understand? Okay. So now what we are doing, so by this line we are creating a file. It can be any type. In general, we may create, like for instance, txt file or sample file is txt. Very simple. And at the end, we close the file. This is very basic operation, okay? This is the first step. Then, after we create a file, we need to use some input-output operations in order to get some data either from keyboard or from another file, and in order to save those data in this file. Okay, so file operations, so creating a file or opening a file is not sufficient alone. there are some existing methods, input output operation we need to use. Okay, that otherwise your purpose will not be served. Okay, this method is actually using try-catch block instead of those. So reading and writing from or in a data file is sometimes challenging. It's not too much easy that, like, if you create a data file using by writing one line, right? Then you have to write as sometimes a lot of lines or statements in order to write something. So let us see this program. You do not need to memorize this, okay? But I will push all of this course on GitHub. Sometimes you need to practice. You need to practice. Then, for instance, let me see this. So this program will create, this line will create a file text.txt within this, which folder? So instead of creating on the text folder, on the root directory, here is my root directory, right? So let us delete all the existing files. Let us see. So then it will print this statement on the console. Okay, and then if it give you prompt to something, and then whatever you write, it will be saved. So this is the statement for saving, writing your data into your file. How it is connecting with the file, with the file's FOS is a file output stream. Let me see if it works. Not sure it will work. I'm guessing that there may be an error. Okay. Says file name txt is open for you. Write something and press enter. Hello. Okay, yeah, there's an error for this here. It created a file. It created a file text dot. Let me see what it has. Okay. It created the file, but it did not. I don't need this. OS. Okay, you see that the previous file did not close. The previous file did not close because maybe I changed somewhere. Sometimes there's a different name over here. Let me set text. Okay, now it is working. So there I put some sample programs. So these programs are like pretty straightforward, but there are also some complex programs. Complexity arises sometimes. For instance, if you want complexity arises sometime if you want to do some like sophisticated operations in your data file. For instance, if you are creating a file and if you are writing something on the file or you are changing something, you are changing the existing content of a file, in that case you need to close a file and then reopen it and then reclose it. There are some steps, okay? And in order to do these operations, sometimes there are some existing methods in both in C# and Java. For instance, in Java we set exist method. If exist method will check whether this file exists or not. For instance, if we run this program, it will check whether the file test.txt exists or not. Okay, so it says the file exists, test.txt exists. Okay, the file exists. Sometimes you see there is another method, it's absolute path. Get absolute path. This method will say where is the location of this file you are looking for or creating. Okay, and since it says absolute path means is the entire path, whole path. And there is another method is get path, is get shortcut path. Okay, so for this one text.txt file, you see the file name get name f.get name will get the file name, f.get path will get the file path with name and path, and then f.get absolute path will get the entire path. There are some existing methods, so when you do practice you will see that these methods. Okay, so let us run this program. This is another interesting program. Maybe what it will do, okay, it will allow you to enter a file name. Okay, that's good. If I run this program, okay, so it will allow me to write your file name. Let us give an unique name. Let us give a unique name. Origin name John, right? Austin? A-H-H-T-O-N. Okay, let us do txt. You believe that I do not have any file in this name, right, in my computer? Okay. Okay, so the file does not exist. Okay. Okay, and let us give another name. I do have text.txt. I do have this file. It says the file path exists. So sometimes this is the way that in your program sometimes you need to write code in the combination of these methods, whether to check whether if this file is existed or not. It is another big larger program. It will create directory as well as, okay, but these are not actually these are out of the content of this course, of this syllabus. Okay, These are the these are from my book chapter. Okay, another thing that I like to mention. If you want to specify your page, your file name within a directory or location, then you have to give like this way: C colon in a double backslash. We know that in order to get a single backslash, we need to give double backslash, right? Within a string. This is why we need to give double backslash here. Okay, but if I run this program in this computer, maybe, okay, so if I say this one, but if I use dot, then it will create this file in the root directory of this project. Okay, but let us see if I do not give this. Over this file will be created. So my file.txt, right? Actually, I don't like to change my program. Okay, so it will create in the bin folder, I believe. Okay, write data and press enter. Hello. Okay, let's see that. This is the complete program. It will allow you to open a file, to read something, and it will also display the content of your program. So where the file myfile.txt is created, open. Oh, it's created here in the local directory here. Okay, that's good. But sometime I saw that it created the folder in the bin directory. What is the reason? Okay, so you can practice this program. Okay, this is the complete program. So it will create a file. Let me put dot slash on your root directory. Okay, and then whatever you write on that file, it also display. So let me run this one more time. So when you run this program, it will say the file name myfile.txt is opened or created, write data and press enter to display. Okay. This is so let us explain this program for a few minutes. So you see that in this program it is a little bit sophisticated, and it has a combination of file creation, file reading, read operation, and write operation. Write operation. Sorry, this is the write operation. This is reading from the text file, and reading a character. So when you need this, sometime in your programming at some phase you will need to do file operation. So come back to this program and then do practice. Okay, these are not the thing that you will memorize. Do not memorize. Okay, you can memorize one line. That, for instance, you need to, in order to create a file, you need this. or you can memorize this basic, but you need to understand the whole entire things. For instance, I was writing that this line is only single line, it will write something on the data file, and as long as I do not press enter backslash n means enter, keyboard enter, okay, then whatever I am entering through my keyboard, this is read, everything is writing into the FOS. What is the FOS? Your file output system. It is writing there. So these three lines, these 4 lines have significant use. So instead of say here, instead of backslash n, if I put G in uppercase, so then what it will do? It will say press G to display. Until I press G, it will be taking my input. Okay, so whatever I display, even if I press enter, no problem, it will take multi-line. But as soon as I press G is in uppercase, and then it will display. But this is not a complete program. It is not showing. Maybe there is a glitch over here. It is showing all in one line. But I did have new line here. New line was not considered, was not detected. So anyone had a question so far? Any question? Yeah. I will push this code on my GitHub account, and so then who are people taking C Java Lab, get this code and then practice. In one of your assignment, you need to create a data file, and you need to read from data file. Maybe you are writing to data file. Okay, and follow this program. If you understand even only this program, you should be able to understand your assignment. Only this program should be fine. So in C#, we also have some existing methods for file input and output operations. Again, so these codes are here in my GitHub account. And if you go to this, my GitHub account, and this is the project, CSE1322 lecture C#, and maybe these are the project file. Okay, at least there are 3 projects here. I will discuss these 3 programs. The first one, let us go through file read write byte. So let us go through this one. How can I make the font size larger? Who is taking C# lab? Can help me? How can I make the font size larger? Okay. I can. If I do Google search, then I can know. But control? No, it does not work. It does not work. Ah, I don't like to mess up. Okay. So this project is file IO read write byte. Okay. So in C# you can see that there is a it's called Filestream. Control Shift. Period. Control Shift. Oh, thank you. Okay, better. Okay, so let's understand this. Okay, the file stream class, its constructor takes multiple arguments. It's called a file name, then file mode, and then mode it will take open or create. You see, that is good thing that if you hover your mouse here or here, it will tell everything. Okay, and then file access mode. Okay. So this program, so I am creating, let us create a text okay, test.txt file. Okay, so it will create a test.txt file, and then if it in Java, the existing method method is exist method. The file class is says exist. It will return exist file name. If this file exists, this is a boolean. It will return boolean method. Okay, it return boolean. Determines whether the specific file exists. That means if this file exists, then it will display this method, and it will write some bytes. What it's doing here is simple. For instance, it is writing from 0 to 20. The numbers it is writing. And else, if it does not exist, then it will show, okay, the file does not exist. So since we are creating this file, so I think whatever name we give, it will work. So if I run this program, okay, so why it is making 1, 2, okay. There is a story behind that. Okay, so here you see that at the top it is showing what is my file location, C:user, my username, then my workspace, my project name, then file, my project, actually the solution name, and then project name, then bin debug folder. Then actually a file is created in the bin debug folder in C# by default. So I have to go according to this. Okay, I have to go to my workspace, and then this folder. Can anybody remember the name? File IO read write byte folder. This one. bin folder, debug folder. You see this folder. So a few minutes ago, right? Okay, 7:16. Okay, this text folder. If I open this folder, it does not show that which are. Actually, in C# it encrypts the data. It does not show on right way. Okay. This is the program, right? Okay, so whatever I'm putting 1, 2, put it 0. Run it again. So it is putting 0 to 20 in this file. Okay. And something for this, in C# there is a write byte method. Byte method is writing 1 byte per write up. Okay, so then here it is writing by character, right? Yeah, numbers, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 20, 20, right? This method is fine. And there is another method for read byte, that read data byte by byte. And there is another method is called read wall, write wall method. Okay, so let us go through this program. This program I have shown here. Okay, so let us see that text.txt, whatever my file has. If I run this program, it said that text.txt does not exist. The reason is that text.txt does not exist because, okay, in this folder this file does not exist. Let us go through this folder. It's different location, right? You see that file is different location. Let us copy this and file io read all method bin debug. Okay, I have a file over here ts_t. Okay, now if I run it again, I have the file. It is, sorry, it is getting encrypted codes data. So I don't know. Let us see the txt original one. Okay, the previous file txt it has this text. So whatever text in this file we have, it is showing data. Maybe I have another program that is good and complete. File write all text. Let us run this program. Okay, so this program is a little bit sophisticated and complete. So it will create a file. It will check a file. It is not creating. It is checking a file whether this file exists. If it exists, then it will contain or it will display all of the content. And as well as it will allow you to write the new content in the file, to change content. So if I run this program, I will show that my file name is text.txt, right? So where this file will be created, this file will be created We'll be checking file IO write wall text. In debug file IO write wall text. Bin debug. It is checking test.file, this file. So let us check the content of this file. So hello, my son name, okay? I tested with him. So if I run this program, so that it says the file exists and contains hello Munim. Okay, so then it is allowing you to enter new content to this file. If I say hello, my friend. Okay, let us check this. So the file, again it is showing the new content. So let us run this program again. Then it is showing the new content. That means the previous content was overwritten. So it is showing new content, right? And then again, whatever you show hello. Okay, then second time if you open this file, then it will show you here hello there. Okay, so whatever you write over here, it will show you. So this program is little bit, is a complete program. Okay, so let us discuss it in the next 5 minutes. So this program is the file name, and it has maybe I told you that in both in C# and Java, all file content will be considered in a single string. So initially we are putting file content equal to null string, and then whatever you write, you see that somewhere, everything that file.read wall text from this file will be put in this string. And when you get everything in a string, sometimes you can use delimiter to separate the words, or sometimes you can use regex to search for specific patterns or format of numbers. Okay, or you can use a specific search method to search whether how many this word exist in a file. Sometimes I did a project that it has millions, the whole Bible in a data file. And it was asked to check how many times God was written in the data file. The whole Bible in one file, huge file, right? The file itself was about 1 gigabyte, one text file. Not only maybe the file, the whole Bible was copied multiple times. Then it becomes very larger file. This is why how in this era of big data science, sometimes operations are needed in order to do searching and sorting. So we are checking that how long it took a specific method compared to another method. Comparing two methods, how much it takes to search, complete the search operation in one way than another way. Okay, so this is straightforward. Is pretty simple, and then so main lines over here is this line. So this line is this line and this line. You see? So these lines are same. These two lines are same. And this is for write operation, and this is for read operation. Read operation, and this is for write operation. The variation is different, right? Is a little bit read wall text, this operation, and here is write wall text. So people who are taking C# lab, so please get this code and then run this. If you understand this found a basic thing, then you will be able to do Google search, and then you will see that other sophisticated methods. Maybe you can use this code in a GUI file, a GUI button. In an action method, that will click. You will click on the button and it will create a file, or you will click on the button, then it will display. But for the GUI operation, you will not display in console, right? You will display on a text. This one of the assignment is like that way. And I did a Google search. I saw that there are many codes like that way. Anyone has any question? Okay, so let us see. If you don't have any question, then I'm done for the day today, tonight, and let us see. Let us see a few more minutes. Let us see our schedule. Okay, for the rest of this semester, I am waiting for you in my office hour, but I do not see anybody. So if you need to see me, send me an email, please. Okay. So I want to make my office hour in the evening only upon email appointment based only. Okay. So if you need to see me, we can talk after the class, or if you need to see me before the class, please send me an email. Okay, otherwise I may not be waiting for you, that nobody show up. I will wait for you. Okay, so then we have covered file IO operation. And then next week, okay, before the spring break, I hope I will discuss about threads and parallel processing. And then after the break, we have only one item, binary search tree, one chapter. So far I believe I have covered 80% of the course content. Okay, and I am in relax mode. Maybe I can finish in 3 weeks, but still I have 4 weeks. So maybe we can finish next classes within an hour. But please come regular, be regular in this class, okay? And please watch these lecture videos and the previous lecture videos. Please, that I have to shortcut this class today. Please watch this video, okay? I have shown in detail that what I discussed shortcut quickly in this class. So anyone has any question before I wrap up? Michael, good? Okay, thank you everybody, and you have a good night. This
Um,